Hello friends, welcome to my channel Words of Wisdom 2.0. Today we are going to discuss why you should stop trying to be nice all the time. Being nice can sometimes come at the expense of what you really want to say or do. In fact, if you're honest with yourself, there are probably some people in your life who get on your nerves because they're just so nice all the time. This can cause resentment and may make you feel as though you have to put up with stuff that isn't necessarily okay with you just to be nice, even though it may not be worth it at the end of the day. How I became a better person after quitting caring what people think. When I was your age, I desperately wanted everyone to like me, and so I smiled until my face hurt, and agreed with people, even when I didn't agree with them at all, and tried really hard not to make anyone mad or sad or upset or uncomfortable. Because if someone was unhappy, it would make me unhappy, too. In other words, most of my time was spent doing everything in my power to be nice and keep everyone around me happy. But after a while, I started to realize that being nice wasn't making me happy. It was actually making me miserable. And here's why. I decided that I was going to do things differently. That I wouldn't try so hard to be liked by everyone. That I wouldn't smile when I didn't feel like smiling. That sometimes, instead of trying not to offend others, I would choose what made me feel good over what made others feel good. And you know what? Since then, life has been much better for me. Why? Because now I'm living authentically. Now I'm being myself, without worrying about what other people think about me. Now, whenever someone doesn't like something about me, instead of freaking out and losing sleep over it, I just remind myself that they are entitled to their opinion and move on with my life. How to deal with mean people. People are mean. It's not a matter of if they will be, but when. As you go through life, expect people to say or do things that hurt your feelings. Even your closest friends and family members won't be exempt from this fact. But how do you deal with these mean people? Or, in particular, how do you deal with toxic and overly critical coworkers? Here are some tips on dealing with toxic colleagues. Don't take it personally. When someone is being mean to you, it can feel like an attack on who you are as a person. However, most often than not, when someone is being rude or snarky towards us, it has nothing to do with us as individuals and everything to do with them having a bad day or some other personal issue. Don't let their negativity rub off on you. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that they are likely having a rough time of things, even if they aren't willing to admit it. It also helps to know that no matter how toxic someone might be, there will always be people in your life who love you and think you're great. Don't forget about those people either. How to tell if someone is rude or just having a bad day. In most cases, a person who's rude is just having a bad day. Maybe they didn't get enough sleep. Maybe someone cut them off on their way to work, or maybe their boss yelled at them for something that wasn't even their fault. Whatever it is, being nice doesn't mean you have to tolerate being mistreated. So if you think someone is being rude to you, don't take it personally. Instead, ask yourself, is there a reason he might be in a bad mood? Is there anything I can do to help him feel better? And then, remember, just because someone is having a bad day doesn't give you an excuse to be rude back. Instead, try to keep your cool and treat them with respect. You never know what kind of battle they're fighting. After all, no one likes a grouch. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It may sound like common sense, but saying nothing at all when someone is acting like a jerk is often easier said than done. This can especially be true when we believe we have something important to say. But why let words ruin your relationship with others? Tips for dealing with different types of mean people. Don't push your ideas on them. If you have an idea, keep it to yourself. Maybe one day you'll be in a position of power, but until then be respectful and don't let yourself be bullied. If you know someone who is dealing with a problem, offer support or advice if they ask for it. Otherwise, leave them alone. People need their own time and space to deal with issues in their own way. Be honest about what you think, but be tactful about how you say it. Don't gossip about other people behind their backs. It makes you look petty and childish. And remember that there are two sides to every story. Be aware of how you come across to others. If you find yourself feeling angry or frustrated at work, try taking a break before speaking out. This will give you time to cool off and approach things from a more rational perspective. Remember that not everyone has good intentions towards others all of the time. Some people genuinely enjoy hurting others and being cruel just because they can. This doesn't mean that everyone is out to get you, though. In the end, we can say, people try their best to be nice. This is why it's so easy for people like you and me, who always want to help others, get taken advantage of. So, How do we stop trying too hard? In other words, how do we stop being nice all the time? The truth is that being mean doesn't feel good, and it doesn't have to. To stay strong in your business dealings, take note of these suggestions. 1. Don't go out of your way to please everyone. When someone asks you for a favor, ask yourself if they deserve one. If not, say no. Simple as that. If they do deserve a favor, then by all means say yes. But don't go out of your way to accommodate them when they don't deserve it, because doing so will come back to bite you later on down the road. 2. Never make promises you can't keep. Your word is your bond. And while there are times when you may need to bend or break a promise, never make promises you know you can't keep. It makes you look unreliable and weak, 2 qualities no one wants to hire or work with. 3. Always ask for what you want. Yes, I know asking for things makes us uncomfortable sometimes, but remember that asking for what we want also gives us power over our lives. 4. Avoid situations where you're expected to be nice. Are you being forced into an awkward situation where you don't know anyone or aren't sure how much interaction is expected from you? Take charge of your life. Leave early, excuse yourself politely, or simply walk away. 5. Be assertive instead of aggressive. Aggressive behavior isn't always bad, however. Aggression towards others usually stems from a lack of self-confidence. So friend, I hope you liked this video. Please comment below and tell us what you think. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe Words of Wisdom 2.0 for more